DonInLondon, hello. It's March 23rd, Saturday, and it's very sleety outside. Rain, sleet, snow, 3 days into spring. Well, there we go. Anyway, my video's all about recovery from addiction. Addiction to alcohol in my case, and it could have been anything else. And it did sort of come out sideways, as they say, in terms of trying to be perfect, which I never was, never got even close. Trying to be perfect for other people, and a bit of a chameleon, so I tried to be whatever I thought you wanted, which is not a good start. Far better to find out who I am so I can share it and then be myself with whoever I am with. And that took me a long time to know that it was okay to be me and okay to be a learner on a daily basis about living, because if I stand still I get stuck, and then I find it hard to let go opinions and beliefs. And something I needed to do in my recovery was accept and admit that I had become powerless over alcohol, and if I kept on doing the same thing over and over again to try and restore myself back to what I thought I ought to be, I would fail. Self-will would fail, and then find a power greater than me that could help me. And in this case it turned out to be a bunch of sober people who meet regularly and discuss and share experience, strength and hope of living sober. And the only place where I could find those people regularly, all round me, was Alcoholics Anonymous. And AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, was suggested to me after the professionals had got me dry yet again from some disastrous incident I found myself in. So the Fellowship of AA provides me with how to live sober, one day at a time. I never speak for the Fellowship. It does not have any leaders. We are all but trusted servants, meaning we are all equal, and every opinion that is expressed need be listened to in groups and meetings. So some people share experience, strength and hope exclusively in the sanctuary of meetings of AA, because it's anonymous. No one's going to share your stuff, and if they do, it's gossip and it's not good. It can kill people. So the most important thing is just to be aware that what you see there and what you hear there, better let it stay there in specifics. But I keep learning, so I share what I learn and share some meditation or reflection I've done this morning. So, although it's all about AA, I don't speak for it, can't. And I cannot speak for you if you are in AA, and you know this. Because if you are in AA, you know I don't speak for you. I just speak about me and how I'm doing, and how the steps, the 12 steps of AA help me on a daily basis. Not to become some sort of robot. That would be the very last thing. I'd have run away straight away. It's taught me how to be free, to be me, to experience real feelings in the moment of now, and be able to cope with life. I'm free. I have freedom of choice. Anyway, this is the AA preamble, which is shared at every meeting on this little card. Can't see it too well. It tells me what AA is there to do. It's not to lock me up, it's not to shut me down, it's for me to have freedom of expression today. So here is the AA preamble, which I will share. it. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women, a society, not an organisation. Fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. That's it. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. So if you say, I want to be in, you're in. But I didn't even have that desire when I first started. It took a bit longer for me. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. In other words, it's free. At the same time, we are self-supporting through our own contributions, which simply means we put a few pennies in if we have them. AA is not allied with anything. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. At the same time, you will be, or might be, in any sect, denomination, political affiliation, organisation or institution, and you may wish to engage in controversy and endorse or oppose any causes. So that's your freedom, your choice, freedom of choice. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. So if you do go to an AA meeting, that's as good as AA gets on that day. So sometimes meetings feel good, sometimes meetings feel bad, and sometimes meetings feel ugly. But if we're open, honest and willing in our behaviour to listen to what is going on, we learn what we can do and what we can't do on a daily basis, where people are finding solutions and where people are finding themselves more and more into problems by trying to take on the world when the world is neither listening nor capable of dealing with their demands. After all, when we get to fellowship, we are probably at a rock bottom. It feels like the end would be better and never to wake up. And the weird thing is, once you've got to rock bottom, asking for help, if we are lucky, is what we do. And that's what I did. I was very lucky. So, that's AA. And it does help me on a daily basis, because without conscious contact with people, without the help of other people, I would not be here. March is all about step 3, a higher power in your life. And for me, my higher power is very simple. It's the truth, love and wisdom shared. So I can be learn how to be more open, honest and willing. It's also about lies and dishonesty shared, because sometimes we're not as well as we would like. So, who said it? Somebody said we say at least 3 lies every 10 minutes. By the time I got to fellowship, I didn't know what the truth was. I think I was probably lying to myself all day long, saying, I will stop tomorrow. I will stop tomorrow. I'm looking at the world and judging it, and it's a horrible place. But I will stop tomorrow. But I didn't. I needed help. But this is about when I first started. Impatient with myself, expecting a quick result, and to be free of alcohol kept tripping me up. I thought I was a good student of life and a quick learner, and I was frustrated by my inability to stop drinking. This is when I really understood I couldn't stop. I learned all about the 12 steps and 12 traditions. I had a head full of knowledge and no experience to back it up. And when I was new to AA, to live the principles rather than just know them, that was what I had to do. So knowing the principles, 12 steps and 12 traditions, which is about open, honest and willing as an individual, living in fellowship, in unity, service and recovery, with no leader telling you what to do. You make your mind up what you're going to do. You volunteer if you want to do something. And there's no pressure. Well, there ought to be no pressure on you to do anything. There's no pressure on me. I think people just thought I was a bit of a, I don't know, last gasper, I suppose. Anyway, knowing something is not the same as doing something. So I may know something, but it doesn't mean I can do it. All my life, learning the theory and putting it into practice in relationships, family, work, before alcohol had me at rock bottom, in a desolate depression. Generally, I thought I had the answers to just about everything. Well, I had the answers, but I was still putting a lot of alcohol in between me and reality, because I was working and trying to be whatever I could be, but without any reason. No, I lost my reason for living. Thinking intelligence is not the same as emotional flexibility, or emotional intelligence, if you like to call it that. I didn't really understand until I stopped drinking that alcohol had always been a way of suppressing what I thought were negative feelings, and in no time in recovery, without alcohol, the emotional and spiritual experience was extreme. My emotional experience was anger and rage at myself and the world. Anger and rage are part of the spiritual experience because they're real feelings, and we really have them some of the time. So how do we cope when our feelings are extreme in early days? In the end, I just had to let them out, anywhere, without causing any harm. In meetings of fellowship, sharing the feelings and how difficult it is to deal with them. By the time I got to fellowship, I was a shivering wreck, and then all these feelings and a lot of complaints about how the world had treated me did come out. If we have made money in life, however hard it was, to lose everything material can leave us very bitter and wanting revenge. And at the same time, I didn't want to feel revenge or bitter, but at the same time, I had burned out and become useless at that time. And it takes a long time to realise that material matters are secondary, although important to us. Fellowship taught me how to cope with the extremes, the resentments, and let go entitlement to anything. Let go entitlement to anything other than what we can do today. Things I can do and have the freedom to, things I cannot do as an individual, and I am powerless. When people said that expectations or entitlements are resentments under construction, well, they can be reconstructed every day. I realised holding on to anything will pull me down and stop me living my life with freedom today. And the word I'm going to use later is circumspect, which means I was told off and challenged, quite rightly, about something I said, which was inappropriate. It was an assumption I made about another situation without regard to all the facts. So I am circumspect, and I did apologise and say I'm sorry, and I needed to, because I was out of order. So even with the best of intent, a sentence dashed off in a hurry, trying to be helpful, was absolutely the opposite. Served me right. Anyway, the world is not a fair place. There are good people who we learn to trust, and they are our bedrock. We learn to trust people. There are bad people, and through experience we learn that they will take from us in any way they can, because that's just their way. And there are ugly people, so damaged by life they are simply a nightmare to know, and they will continue to take anything, material or emotional, and leave us bereft of everything. And every day we will find there are good people we trust, bad people we just don't want to know. Why would we want to know them? And people, ugly people, who are completely unaware of just how horrible they are, because they have no sense of their own outlook on the world, being sometimes the very opposite of where the world is. Letting go any notion of trying to correct the behaviour of another person, letting go the notion of correcting another person is a good idea. Let go thinking you can help them or change their mind, because we can then concentrate on our own freedoms and not interfere with anyone, anywhere, one day at a time. We can make suggestions if we ask, or it's asked for, but to put your size 12 boots into somebody else's life and make comment, this is what got me out of my box and in the wrong place. Anyway, I made an apology on a social network, which was quite justified. I needed to make it. I made a suggestion about letting go, and it was inappropriate. Just because my experience has taught me to let go and find a balance, it does not mean that what I do is necessarily right for another person. Somewhere in the fellowship literature, it says that we can trample on the toes of others and they will retaliate. I feel they are right to retaliate, because I have no business making suggestions which do not fit another person's situation. And probably I have been doing this without realising, and forgetting that people have their own path, own outlook and way of life that is really to be respected and never forgotten. Step 10 is a good way to remind myself not to trample on the toes of anyone with intent, but still I will do it without intention, and any one of us will do this because we are humans, and we are all learning what works one day at a time. Admit, accept and apologise without reservation. And I do, and I have. Being able to admit that we have done something wrong is truly important in recovery. We are all going to make mistakes, and I know I make mistakes quite often, and I need to keep on learning how to live life. If I don't keep on learning and stand still and hold on to the opinions and beliefs which do not fit reality, I will lose touch with my emotional and spiritual life, which is living in the moment of now, and getting to the truth, love and wisdom of things. Understanding my feelings in the moment of now and being able to cope with reality keeps me safe. And it's really important that I keep on listening to what is said by those I trust, by those I don't trust, and also listen with great care to those with a very ugly and horrible outlook. So we learn from everyone. We listen and learn from everyone. It doesn't mean that what they say is right for us. What it means is we can then make freedom of choice about what is right for us as an individual. This way I can find balance, keep on being open, honest and willing, and at the same time using common sense and stepping back, applying a bit of gumption, which again is common sense really, gumption, some action, which I can lose sight of sometimes, and be able to make sense of what matters most, which is serenity and sanity in the ever-present, imperfectly perfect moment of now. How else would we learn if we didn't do something and make a mistake? That's all part of life. So how am I feeling? The word I use is circumspect. Making suggestions without the full information and without checking the facts is something any one of us can do. And I did it yesterday with too little information, and then we can be unhelpful and cause anger and resentment. Typically this is not my way forward, and usually I do check my facts as best I can. We have TV programmes in the UK. One in particular reminds me of how easy it is to make assumptions. The TV programme is called Rip Off Britain, and the programme not only shows how big business often makes mistakes at the expense of their customers, and then they deny it, because that's the legal start for them. Deniability, plausible. And the opposite is also true, where people rip off each other, sometimes with intent and sometimes by mistake, and then they deny it. The good news in recovery is we can clean up our side of the street and be aware just how easy it is to undermine another person and their opinions and beliefs. And in fellowship we learn it is better to admit and accept that we have what we have done and try and make amends as best we can. Or the emotional and spiritual path not only gets cloudy, it could get ugly as well. Admit and accept and let go any idea of being right. Learn the truth and be open about it, and make amends as we can. There is absolutely no guarantee that although we make the amends, that they will be accepted in the spirit in which we make them. We will always be powerless with regard to how anyone may respond, and we need to accept the truth of where they are as much as where we are today. Anyway, how am I? Yeah, part of it. As the song goes, the weather outside is frightful. Snow, rain, sleet, you name it. So I'll have to put on my waterproofs in order to get to a meeting today, check that my bicycle lights have new batteries as it's very dull, and make sure I'm wearing a fluorescent jacket. Not a good day for taking photographs with my type of camera. Not enough light. So what's important today? This is what's important to me. To know my feelings in the moment of now. To keep being honest, open and willing to listen to the world, and not my opinion about it. To be level-headed in my relationships and see the freedom that my fellows in recovery have today. And be very grateful for their company in and around where I live. And the gratitude I have for the friends all over the world who are just there and part of my life today. So I appreciate you. I do. Absolutely. And have gratitude. And I hope, indeed I really do hope, I don't tread on your toes all day long. In other words, if you feel your toes being trodden on by me, ignore me if that's the best way forward, or turn me off if that's the best way forward, or shut me out if that's the best way forward. And that's perfectly right for you. And just for today, I can only suggest this for a day, or any longer than a day. I wouldn't have to learn anything, would I, if it was all going to be the same? Every situation is new, and it can go. I can remember so many times just one word can brutalise another person, and we don't know we're doing it until we've done it sometimes. The truth is, on any given day, I need to keep learning and making mistakes and asking for help. So I keep on learning wisdom from you, and then putting it into practice and learning with humility in the moment of now. And I feel that it's right. I don't like it when I'm unhelpful, and I don't like it when I upset people. It's not my general way forward. But I know that sometimes people will misunderstand why I do these videos. The reason why I was asked to, for people who are isolated and can't get out. And I know that feeling, because in my life, sometimes, even for months, getting out is not a possibility. So these videos are done with good conscience, living reality, learning the emotional and spiritual journey of life, and trying to be open, honest and willing about how the 12-step program helps me on a daily basis. Freedom to be me. And when you talk about the fellowship, or I talk about the fellowship, depending on where you are in the world, what you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. That's as good as it gets for today. And there will be good bits, bad bits and ugly bits. And we learn from all of those things by listening to those who have found, with experience, strength and hope, a better path to live with freedom just for one day. So sometimes meetings can feel horrible, but we learn as much from a horrible meeting as we do from a good old chat where we have a laugh. We can be very comedic. In fact, we are not a glum lot. Why else live? If I hadn't learned about clinical depression and how it impacts on me, if I hadn't been alive long enough to get type 1 diabetes, I wouldn't have realised just how well fellowship helps me with everything that happens to me, one day at a time. Freedom to be yourself. Good, bad or ugly some days, or a whole load of stuff on top. Coping with it, coping with our feelings and understanding them and living them in the moment means they work better through time. And once we understand our emotional base, we understand how our feelings impact on our thinking and then the actions we will take today. Enough of me. Feelings, thinking, action. Mood impacts on our thinking and mood impacts on our actions. It's true. We can change our thinking, we can change our actions, and then our mood will change accordingly. Mood is always at the back of everything. Our emotional level, good, bad or ugly, that will come out profoundly from you today. Anyway, the Serenity Prayer, which keeps me in order most of the time, is to God or the higher power of your choosing, and I choose that the universe is full of truth, love and wisdom, ever changing in the ever-present imperfectly moment of now. Truth, love and wisdom changes. It can deepen or it can crack open and become something else. Truth, love and wisdom, my higher power. It's from you to me. In fellowship and outside fellowship, the truth, love and wisdom of the universe. And if God works through people, good people, the other opposite, the devil works through bad and ugly people, and sometimes good people too, who are resentful and horrible and hateful because of what has happened. And then we change back, hopefully, to what we prefer. Serenity and sanity. So the Serenity and Sanity prayer, as I would call it now, is to God or in good conscience, or the truth, love and wisdom of the universe, as you come to understand for yourself, no one else, your choice, your freedom to choose your higher power. And if you're listening to this, you are part of my wisdom. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Accept the things I cannot change. Courage to change the things I can. Again, courage to change the things I can. And the wisdom to know the difference. So, can do, change me and my attitudes. Can't do, powerless over you and the world. And the wisdom to know the difference. So, it's how I am included by my actions and not my intentions today. I hope your weather is better than ours, but I guess it won't be. There's a lot of snow about. And it's the third day of spring. Let's see what tomorrow brings.